F1 Academy Racing Series continued its journey with another new circuit as we went racing for the first time at the As Marina circuit. It quickly took its prisoners. Chloe Chambers spinning as she took the lead early on. There would be more dramas. Lola Lovinfoss being turned round in the chicane, but out front Abby Pulling would lead us away from the front, picking up crucial points for Rodin Motorsport and a record-breaking 8th win in the process. Well, we're going to now go racing under the lights here in Abu Dhabi. This race 2 of 3 for the weekend in our season finale. We still have that crucial teams battle going on. We have our champion in Abby Pulling. We now have our vice series champion in Dorian Pan. That was settled earlier. We still have to get the third driver on the series podium and also the team's title as well. That's the As Marina circuit. It provided some great racing earlier, long straights into heavy braking zones, giving us some great action. And on the front row, Abby Pulling and Chloe Chambers, who will be out for redemption in this one. They're the Alpine back driver. Here to call you through the action, myself, Chris McCarthy, alongside me, Joe Osborne.
Hello and good evening. We're looking at Chloe Chambers starting second place like she was in race 1. She took the lead, didn't she, into turn 1, but then unfortunately lost the rear of the car turn 9, and that dropped all the way back to last position. She did recover to get to the top 10, which was a great effort before a penalty for an unsafe rejoining. So I'm expecting the same again. Chambers is off the racing line, but is being given the inside into turn 1. So are we going to see a repeat of race 1?
It was Hamda Al-Kabaisi, the Emirati driver, taking a historical podium in second, and Dorian Pan securing second place in the series overall with third. But this is going to be the grid for race 2. Logan Hanna, the wild card there. She performed well earlier. She's alongside Jessica Edgar, who will need to make places for her team. Aurelia Nobel's Amna Al-Kabaisi got a personal best for the series in 8th place. She's 13th. Lola Lovinfoss will be looking to make ground. She's alongside Tina Hausman, who picked up a couple of penalties in the race earlier. Carrie Schreiner inside the top 10 as she was earlier. She's alongside Emily De House in 9th place, who picked up a series best of 4th place earlier. Watch for her. Leah Block is on road 4. Nerea Marti, for the 28th consecutive time in the series, will be in the top 10. Maya Berg trying to hold on to 3rd place in the series overall. She's alongside the driver who was 3rd place earlier, Dorian Pan. Bianca Bustamante looking to try and get back on the podium for the first time in a few rounds. She's alongside Hamda Al-Kabaisi, and then we have one of our winners from the season, Chloe Chambers, alongside Abby Pulling on pole position. And that is how the grid is lined up, and I'm delighted to say it won't just be myself and Joe Osborne in the commentary box for this one. We have our F1 Kids host and someone who has covered several feeder series categories, Izzy Browning, with us as well. Izzy, I know you're familiar with many of the teams and drivers on the grid. How excited are you not just to be here, but to see this season finale of the F1 Academy Series playing out?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Super excited to be here for the penultimate race of the season. Obviously, it's coming to the end of the championship. 9 of our drivers won't be on the grid next year, where they have done 2 seasons in the championship. So they will not be on the grid next year. So lots of new faces will be coming into the grid. And of course, this year we've also got a team's title still to decide between Rodin Motorsport, who you see on your screen, and Prema, of course, with Rodin the opportunity to close up to Prema in this race. But don't count out Dorian Pan and Maya Vug, because they'll be looking to close up as well.
Yeah, we got that team's title. It would definitely mean a lot, wouldn't it? Big bragging rights for the likes of Rodin, not just for the F1 Academy, but for also their other series as well. It would mean a huge amount for them as a team and for Prema if they could go and win that. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it would mean a huge deal to either of the teams. Of course, Prema, the reigning team champions, but Rodin, they'll want that first title, won't they?
and Maya Berg looking to hold on to third as well. Abby Pulling, not with a penalty, will lead us away from pole position. Izzy's going to be keeping track of how that battle develops for us in terms of the series battle, and keep track of what's going on throughout the race for us. We're delighted to have her in the commentary box. And out front, can she be stopped is the question. Abby Pulling, she took a record-breaking 8th win earlier. Now she's in search of a 9th, and we spoke to her after qualifying.
To be honest, in cooler track temperatures, we normally struggle. That's why this qualifying being so late, we didn't know if we were on the money or not, but we made it work, and the race will be, no different. We got a lot of good data from qualifying. Long run pace seems good, so ready to fight.
So Joe, we're into different conditions now, racing in daytime earlier, now we're into the night. How's that going to change things for the drivers? Obviously, visibility, a big thing, but how else will that change things for the drivers?
Yeah, perversely here in Abu Dhabi, the floodlights are so good as we go on board a Lear block. You can see the illustration of that. So visibility is actually the same, if not better. The sunlight, sometimes you get the glare from it, so the visibility for the drivers is better. The biggest positive is track temp is lower. The sun is set, the track is cooling down, offering more grip to the drivers through these Pirelli tyres. So that will be a positive. You will sometimes then just get a little bit of a humidity forming as the sun has set. So we're keeping an eye on the surface for any of that forming. But it looks good at the moment. They've never done a race at night before, and then Qatar last week was their first time. This is their second one within a couple of weeks. So they'll be well versed in this.
And if you're Chloe Chambers, how do you bounce back? Obviously, these are the drivers just starting their careers in single-seaters. F4 cars they're in. We're using F1 style points for this 14-lap race, as we always do. How does she bounce back? I know you work with a lot of young drivers. How does she bounce back from that earlier?
You just have to say you made a great start. You were in the lead, so that was what we're focusing on. And the spin was an innocent one. The tyres wouldn't have been up to temperature. They would have been 60-70% up there to their temperature range, so the rear grip wouldn't have been where she expected. Last time she went through turn 9 was qualifying when the car was at its optimal. So it was an easy one just to dispel and get rid of any fears and just let her focus on race 2.
And will that be going through Abby Pulling's mind, the fact she was beaten off the line earlier? Chloe Chambers got her into turn 1.
Yeah, she tried to give the excuse in the cool-down room that the lights were quicker than she expected. The minimum is 2 seconds, and it was about 2 seconds. So she was already putting her excuse in ahead of this race.
Well, if you're just joining us, welcome to the F1 Academy Racing Series. You are just in time. This is race 2 of 3 this weekend. 14-lap race coming up around this Yas Marina circuit. Points to the top 10 F1 style points. This race 2 of 3 in our season finale. We've already crowned our series champion, our vice champion. We have a battle for third in the series going on, and for the team's title between that team Prema Racing and this team Rodin Motorsport, their driver on pole position. There's the green flag at the back of the field. To the right of screen, Hasback driver Chloe Chambers. To the left of screen, Alpine's Abby Pulling. We are go for the second time of the weekend at the Yas Marina circuit. Much better launch there from Abby Pulling, so much so she can take the racing line through the first corner. Chloe Chambers in second place, then it's Red Bull Racing's Hamda Al-Khabaisi in third, Dorian Pan there in fourth, and that was Maya Berg trying to go down the inside with the Tommy Hilfiger car of Nerea Marti. They were side by side making their way up through turn 2, on board with the Ferrari now of Maya Berg as she looks towards the outside, down towards the heavy braking zone of turn 5, and she'll be straight into the slipstream as we go onto the back straights. Joe.
Yeah, really strong start from Pulling. Marti got the jump on Vug. They finished race 1 in that order. Bianca Bustamante slow away again. She lost a couple of places in race 1 and has lost 3 at the start of this race, going back on board with Vug. This was her view, wasn't it, for 10 laps of race 1. We saw a big lock up there from Pulling as well into turn 1. Emily de Hausch in that Ford Red Bull car was close to getting the back of Maya Vug. Cars going off. Carrie Schreiner, rear of the car lifted up there. A couple of cars cutting, Aurelia Nobels and Logan Hannah cutting. And look at Pulling, she's lost speed out that turn 8 drag. Chambers down the inside, should get the move done into turn 9.
And Chambers has found a gap on the inside there of Pulling. Great racing this. The Hasback car of Chloe Chambers goes down the inside at turn 9 to steal the race lead away from Abby Pulling. So just like she did in race 1, it's Chloe Chambers leading us on lap 1 with that Hamda Al-Khabaisi in third. closes back in. Dottie and Pan right there in 4th place. And our series champion slightly unsettled in 2nd place. Nerea Marti has managed to hold on to 5th place. Maya Berg is next along. Then it's Bianca Bustamante, who is having a good fight with Emily De House. We did see Carrie Schreiner briefly receiving contact, the rear of her car lifting off from the ground. It looks like she's still circulating in 12th place as the field now make their way across the start-finish line and down towards turn 1.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of lockups of pulling now. 1 into turn 6 would have compromised her X out of 7, and that's ultimately how Chambers got past her. I think she also had a lockup into the last corner, block looking racing with Tina Hausman. Tina Hausman attracted 2 separate penalties in race 1. 5 seconds for running wide at turn 1, then 10 seconds for the contact with Lola Lovenfoss. Pulling is struggling to stay with Chambers at the moment. Chambers is doing better than she did in race 1. She's now led a lap. Logan Hannah looking to the inside of Aurelio Numbers, doesn't get the move done as we see Carrie Schreiner boxing there, trying to spot some damage. They're looking like they're going to change the rear left tyre. Is it just the tyre or is it suspension? The team will work away, making sure it's safe. They're going to fit that. They'll probably give it a wiggle. Big lock-up for Dorian Pan. Maya Vug defending from Bianca Bustamante. Bustamante trying to hang it round. Oh, very fair driving. She didn't want to cut the inside at turn 7, which we see too many drivers do, in my opinion, but she has now compromised herself and has to change that attack to defend from Emily De House, who's looking to the inside. I think she's going to be able to get the overlap. She decides better of it. Maya Vug's also slow at the end of the straight, isn't she? Emily De House could maybe go for 2 moves in 1, decides the better of it. Locks up, goes deep. Bustamante gets back. Can she get to the inside of Mervig? This is an amazing battle between 3 very fast drivers.
And Emily De House running slightly wide. Bianca Bustamante there just about holding on ahead. And joining in the party, there comes Amna Alkebasi down the inside of Emily De House to almost take the position. She's been driving very well this weekend as Amna Alkebasi. She matched her best result of the season earlier with 8th, and she's looking to challenge for 8th place already on the 2nd lap of 14 as they head towards the final corner. We now go on to lap 3. It is Chloe Chambers with a gap of half a second over Abby Pulling. No DRS in the F1 Academy series. She's doing a great job so far, Izzy. Chloe Chambers leading Abby Pulling, then Hamda Alkebasi. This is a really close fight, isn't it? And for Abby Pulling, in terms of the team's title, she could be taking crucial points if she could get back ahead of Chloe Chambers.
Yeah, absolutely. Chloe Chambers, bit of redemption for this morning. She'll be, I think team will be straight on the radio egging Chloe Chambers on. But Amna Alkebasi as well, with a bit of a fire in her belly maybe. Home race for her and did amazingly well this morning, and you rather get the feeling that she'll want more in this one.
Yeah, she's doing really, really well. Means a lot to her, of course. Hamda and Amna's father raced here in the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup and scored points back in 2011. And then we saw Hamda on the podium earlier, currently in a podium position. Dottie and Pan, though, trying to take that from her. What a great fight this is, as we hear from Abby.
Up and forward, you can get her.
So Abby Pulling there, talking track limits, and that would have been a suggestive radio message, not just to the team, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. The stewards will be looking at that. Turn 1 has been our hot spot so far. There is a camera there, but Pulling just making sure they're aware of it. As we go back to start, you can see Bustamante and the McLaren slow away. That actually compromises Maya Vug, and I think that's why Nerea Marti then gets around the outside of her. Look at De House. It looks like there's going to be contact with the back of the Ferrari car. That forces Bustamante a little bit wide there. They then slot to single file, but Maya Vug trying to fight it round the outside of turn 3. Then tucks in there and go on board. So look at Bustamante there, just slow away there. We're also seeing a penalty for Lovenfoss. Was that maybe the car that collected Schreiner at turn 6? Correct. Maya Vug still got Marti on her outside. Marti runs a little bit wide. I think that will be fair though, as there is no room. We then tuck in through here. It's very hard to go around the outside of this next right-hander. It's very much a one-line corner. We did have a slight look to the inside coming into the heavy break of 5. Let's look back. You can see Lovenfoss and Schreiner in the green kit car. Let's have a look. Yeah, Lovenfoss, wow. Just, she hit the apex curb, which forced her into the side of off Carrie Schreiner, but yeah, I'm not surprised they had to box and change that wheel. Look at the lock-up for pulling the first car into this corner. Huge lock-up there, so that would have done a bit of damage to the tyre. She then would have gone in deep. Watch in the... I just miss it. Oh, we're going to catch it perfectly here. All four wheels in the air. And yeah, they build them strong race cars, and then this was the run, wasn't it? Out of 8, Chambers got the run. I think Pulling must have gone in deep, got a poor exit, and Chambers was actually 4 kilometers an hour in the speed trap that they're just passing through now, and that's why the job was relatively easy, and she goes past the crash site where she had that spin earlier in race 1.
Might be a little bit disappointed. She left just enough of a gap for Chloe Chambers to get through, but very good driving for Chloe Chambers to get through. And Carrie Schreiner, good that we're just seeing her out of the car and okay there, because it could have been a nasty incident, but great driving from Chloe Chambers. Abby Pulling may just feel slightly frustrated there was enough of a gap there.
Yeah, she's just done the fastest sector 2 of the race, Abby Pulling, so that gap is staying around 5/10 of a second, so I think the fight will be on.
And that heavy lockup, are we going to see a lasting effect there for Abby throughout the race?
I think it was lucky enough where she released the brake early and it just got it rotating. It was a smoky one, but there wasn't a flat spot mark that I could see on that front left, so I think it should be okay, but she will have that in the back of the mind and she won't want to have another one as the top 4 are starting to pull away from Maria Marti in that Tommy Hilfiger car in 5th. We go on board with Dorian Pan currently in 4th. We saw a dominating performance from her last weekend in Qatar. She's been quick at times, but a compromised qualifying. They tried to save a set of tyres for Prema and Dorian Pan to use them in the race, but at the moment they're not able to use that advantage, and we are stuck behind the local Emirati driver of Hamlet Al-Khabaisi at the moment, as the first 2 are just edging away. You can just hear the tyres ever so slightly locking up. The driver's having to modulate the brake pedal. The harder you brake, the quicker you stop to an ultimate point. When you lock up, you then start to lose braking efficiency, and that's when you go in. We're seeing a 10-second penalty for Amna Al-Khabaisi. That's a shame after such a strong start. She made 5 places up in race 1 this morning. She has been our most overtaking driver of the season, 34 overtakes before this weekend, but the officials are saying that some of those overtakes weren't potentially legal.
So she has a penalty. Lola Lovinfoss, who is in the 3 Charlotte Tilbury car, has one as well. But Amna Al-Khabaisi now a 10-second penalty, and running wide is Aurelia Nobels there in the Puma-backed car. Jessica Edgar next along behind Lola Lovinfoss, and then next along is Logan Hanna doing a good job here to stay with the pack. She lost a lot of time during practice, did Logan Hanna, due to some mechanical issues. Those quickly fixed for her, and since then she's been playing catch-up slightly, and Logan Hanna is doing a great job to stay with the pack since then. The lockup that we saw, Joe.
Yeah, really nervous. Had to cut through there. She extended her lead by 1.5 seconds than the sectors. Unsurprising, doing the fastest sector 2 where the chicane was cut. She will bleed out the throttle and let that gap go back to how it was before that. Otherwise, she will attract a penalty there. Pulling just starting to rein in a tiny bit on the rear of Chloe Chambers. Dorian Pan also doing the same to Hamda Al-Khabaisi. They're all pushing the track limits hard into turn 1. The wider you let the car run, the more speed you can carry. And it's a long straight then to the next time you brake at turn number 5 where they're approaching now.
Make their way down towards turn 5 now. This a great battle. We're splitting into 2 groups, aren't we? Chambers and Pulling, and then we've got Al-Khabaisi next and Dorian Pan. We jump on board with Dorian Pan as they head down this back straight. Can we see a move come in from the Mercedes back driver? It's Mercedes versus Red Bull once again around the Yas Marina circuit, but further back, Izzy, we've got a great fight going on between Marti and Verg. All crucial points in the battle for 3rd in the overall series there as we continue to watch this fight with Dorian Pan.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Prema will be looking at this race thinking it's turning out pretty nicely for them, with the other 2 Rodin drivers out of the points. Lovinfoss in 14th, Jess Edgar in 13th right now, and Abby Pulling, of course, losing that lead, but looking a little bit closer to Chloe Chambers at this point.
it's not just for, of course, this series, but it's for their futures as well. This is where we're going to see Amna Al-Khabaisi, where she got a time penalty. So this is on the first lap, and that is for what she's got the 10-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So your thoughts on that one, Joe?
Yes, she saw the incident in front of her and had to take evasive action, but kept her foot pinned and yeah, took a unfair advantage. She tried to give one place back to De House, but it was a net gain, and I think that was a fair penalty awarded to her. Chloe Chambers still keeping this gap at 0.5 of a second. Remember, she did win in Barcelona, and that was a lap one to finish victory. Yes, she didn't start on pole position today, but she was leading by the end of lap one.
They make their way now down towards turn 5. This very close out front. Chambers versus Pulling. Pulling in search of yet another record win. She's got a record-breaking 8th win earlier. Can she now go and get number 9? The driver in the number 9 Alpine car. She's got Chloe Chambers ahead of her. Chloe Chambers after another win this year. We jump on board now with Dodi Ampan fighting away with Hamda Al-Khabaisi. She's become familiar to the view of the rear wing of Hamda Al-Khabaisi's car, but maybe not for much longer. She puts herself in the rear view mirror there of Hamda Al-Khabaisi's car, and every time we've gone down that back straight, we get a familiar view there of Dodi Ampan just piling on the pressure on Hamda Al-Khabaisi.
Yeah, it's a mirror image of race 1, but they were fighting over 2nd position. This race, it's 3rd at the moment. Pulling again, reporting into the team that Chambers is doing track limits, so she's doing everything she can there. Maya Vug still looking to the inside of Marty. Marty keeping it very tight around turn 9 there, making sure no door, no space was opened for Vug there. We're just looking at battles all the way down the pack. It is really tight. Bustamante is only 0.3 of a second off the car we're riding on board at the moment. Pulling to the inside, move done. That must have been a mistake from Chambers. That is not an overtaking spot at Yas Marina in turn 14.
Pulling through ahead of Chloe Chambers as we hit the halfway point of this race. Abby Pulling is ahead, but this is not a two-way fight for the race lead. We've got Hamda Al-Khabaisi in the Red Bull Racing livery car in 3rd. Dodi Ampan in the Mercedes in 4th place. It is 4 for the race lead in one of the closely contested races we've had in the F1 Academy Racing Series, and we're only halfway through. Up the hill they go. Let's have a look at how she took the lead, Joe.
Wow, so Chambers goes really deep into turn 12, actually out of shot, then has to cut across the apex of 13, loses speed. She lost a second in that last sector alone, and I'm not surprised. That must have been a big moment under braking into turn 12. She does well to recover it and only lose 1 spot, but that will be really galling for her. That's now 2 races that she's lost the lead.
Very close fight going on in the background as well between Nerea Marti and Maya Vug. This your battle for the lead though. Chloe Chambers closing in behind Abby Pulling. Will she be able to make the move? Not quite on this lap. Hamda Al-Khabaisi there in 3rd, Dodi Ampan in 4th, only 3 steps on the podium. Which of these drivers will miss out? Which of these 3 will stand on the top step of the podium? Still plenty of laps to sort this one out. Abby Pulling, though, she has led the most laps in the F1 Academy Series. She's not going to be easy to overtake at all as we jump back on board with Maya Vug, trying to get past Nerea Marti for 5th place. Bianca Bustamante then in 7th place. Emily De House in 8th place.
Yeah, I think there must have been a big lock-up from this battle as we're watching the lead 4 as we go back to them. There's a lot of smoke into turn 6 in the background. 4 different teams running these cars as well. Shows how competitive this championship is. Alpine from Haas, from Red Bull, from Mercedes. It's hard to call who looks racy. Pulling is maybe gapped away a tiny bit on this lap. That is the 99th lap she has done in Formula 1 Academy. One more lap, she would have led 100 laps. She's stopping nearly every stat, isn't she, Chris, in F1 Academy?
She really is. Abby Pulling makes her way around turn 1 now and up the hill. Where's the next move going to come from? Chloe Chambers looks like her tyres might be slightly falling away from her here because Hamda Al-Khabaisi is piling the pressure on. Either that or the pressure or the pace of Abby Pulling is just too hard to keep up with, because look at the gap to Abby Pulling. The gap has extended to over a second now, and Chloe Chambers has been left vulnerable to attack of Hamda Al-Khabaisi, the Emirati driver, not just looking for a podium. She wants a race win on home soil. She's tucked in behind Chloe Chambers, down the back straight, towards the braking zone of turn 6. Will she make a move? Can she force Chloe Chambers into a mistake? Not this time, but she'll have another opportunity down here towards turn 9.
Yeah, the team's batter in the standings as well, heating up at the moment, Pulling the only roading driver to be scoring points. Seeing a bit of a glitch on the timing there. Sid Pan got up to second, so we keep our eyes on the track. Chambers really dropping away now, but Pulling and Roden will want Dorian Pan to stay in 4th position, try and get that gap down, but Maya Vug, also a Premier driver in 6th, is making this a hard job for Roden at the moment to gap that deficit, which currently stands at 23 points to Premier in the lead.
Dorian Pan there trying pressure tactics. She braked on the inside there, just to try and distract Hamda Al-Khabaisi. Not quite doing on this occasion. Abby Pulling streaking clear out front, 1.5 seconds ahead of Chloe Chambers. Then it is Hamda Al-Khabaisi. Then it is Dorian Pan in 4th place out the final corner. 5 to go in this race as they head down the start-finish straight. That is the battle at the top of the picture. We have to remember Amna Al-Khabaisi in that has a penalty. So she is going to drop back, but at the front of it, Nerea Marti versus Maya Verg versus Bianca Bustamante, Emily De House trying to climb forward as well. Susie Wolf, who's been celebrating her 42nd birthday this weekend, will be absolutely enjoying the action we're seeing here, Joe.
Yeah, and one person not enjoying the action, Carrie Schreiner, with a different view of a race than she would have wanted and expected. Not surprised there is damage to that car. Say Maya Verg has got past Nerea Marti now, and you can see it in the background, the red Ferrari car in front of the Tommy Hilfiger car, defending really intently. Bustamante not far behind Marti either now. You can see everyone having to hug the inside there in that background. Marti side by side. Can she go round the outside? A very hard move to do here at 6. Verg just slightly locks up. She goes in deeper here now. Can the cutback happen from Nerea Marti? It doesn't look like it. Bustamante was going to get a double toe now. You can see Nerea Marti having to check her mirrors, doing the shortest distance possible at 8. Pops to the outside of 9. What's her option here? Can she brake later than Maya Vug and try and go round the outside is an option. There is a lot of camber at this Parabolica style corner. She thinks better of it and just tucks in behind again. This is roles reverse of what we saw in race 1.
Maya Verg doing a great job there to get herself up into 5th place. She goes ahead of Nerea Marti. Bianca Bustamante still there behind, and Emily De House in 8th place. Great driving this from Maya Verg into 5th place. This a look back at the move as she made her way down. So we'll have a look at a replay. Sends it down the inside there of Nerea Marti at a corner that she probably wasn't expecting the move to come from, because we go on to this straight next. So brilliant move that, Izzy, not only for the move, but because of the points battle she is in for 3rd overall in this series as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Maya, great move from her, but Nerea Marti now with a little bit of pressure from Bianca Bustamante. I think Bianca was sitting back watching all that happening and hoping that there would be a room for her to come through and take both of them.
We've got Hamda Al-Khabaisi trying to chase her down points-wise, and so she needed that move to happen, and trying to make a move happen now is Bianca Bustamante as well, applying the pressure on Nerea Marti next along. So Nerea Marti looking a little bit flustered out there, having just lost a place. Looks like she's in danger of losing another, and possibly being on the attack. There is Dorian Pan as well, trying to get past Hamda Al-Khabaisi. There we see Nerea Marti, Joe, under all sorts of pressure from Bianca Bustamante, who looks to the outside down towards turn 6.
Yeah, same with De House and Amna Al-Khabaisi as well. Houseman trying to get in on the act. Can Amna get the cut back here? It's going to be a drag race on this second long back straight. Can just see the house's shadow on the left side creeping back into shot. Going to be side by side. It does favour the house, this next left-hander, and starting to lose out on the end of the straight. Houseman to the inside of Amna. There's a slight lock-up as well from Leah Block. Houseman still on the inside of Amna El-Khabazi. It's going to go back to the right-hand side. It really shows you how quickly attack turns into defend on a great racetrack like this, and Leah Block trying to join in on the action too.
Got Tina Houseman looking round the outside. As you said, Leah Block is right there as well. Points go to the top 10. Leah Block would go past Amna El-Khabazi because of that penalty. Tina Houseman, that's a brave move. If she can go all the way round the outside, around that double left-hander, and she's done it. Tina Houseman going by Amna El-Khabazi, Joe.
Great move, best move of the weekend I've seen so far to get it round the outside. So close on the brakes. Amna El-Khabazi will be a little bit peeved at that move, I'm sure. She was fair but hard, but Houseman just sent it. Nothing to lose there. Leah Block also looking very racy car, darting around left to right, and we can see the cars running wide out of turn one. Have to be careful that they don't attract a penalty for that. The other thing that's happened in the background at the moment, Chloe Chambers has done the fastest lap of the race, has taken that away from Abby Pulling with 2 laps remaining. Can Abby Pulling respond to get that fastest lap point also?
Abby Pulling 1.5 ahead of Chloe Chambers. Hamda El-Khabazi in 3rd place, but Dottie and Pan right there as well. This the battle to see who's going to join Abby Pulling on the podium, because it looks like once again she will be leading us to the flag with how she is performing. What about in the background? Nerea Marti, her pace seemingly falling away, and it looks like her tyres are as well. Another lock-up for her. She goes side by side with Bustamante. Bustamante running wide out the chicane. This fight far from over. It could be having another round down towards turn 9 here. Nerea Marti in the Tommy Hilfiger car, leading the papaya-coloured car there of Bianca Bustamante. Are we going to go round the outside at turn 9? We're certainly going to give it a go. Bianca Bustamante round the outside. Can't quite get it done at this time, but we're seeing moves done all over the circuit here, Joe.
Really are. We're going to have a lunge into turn 12. The laps evaporate away, the desperation levels crank up a level there. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Is that in front or behind us? Can't see anything into this final part of the lap at the moment.
It looks like Jessica Edgar might be in trouble. She's seemingly falling back, but we will confirm that in a second. She's just fallen 5 seconds back. Oh dear, no, it's Lola Lovenfoss. That looks like heavy damage to the front right suspension. So Jessica Edgar comes by in 14th, but there we go, she was involved, and she is going to go no further in this race as well. So Edgar and Lovenfoss.
Yeah, I think that's going to be on turn 9. Looked like Lovenfoss was stuck on the exit of 9. We got damage to front and rear of a car, so be interesting to see how it happens. It is into turn 9. Safety car's being deployed. Lovenfoss down the inside, 3 wide. Edgar turned in. Lovenfoss tried to get out of the way over the apex curb, and that lifted the car up, and they hit into each other, and race-ending damage for both of those cars.
And that's not good at all, particularly for the teams series title fights there, Izzy, because those two are under the same team.
Yeah, not at all. Obviously, teammates coming together, Jess Edgar and Lola Lovenfoss. Roden will be looking at that thinking absolute disaster. 2 out of 3 of their drivers now coming together. Abby Pulling, yes, she's looking like she's going to take the win, but hey, with 2 drivers out, it's not looking good for the Roden team.
Not at all. They've got the driver leading the way who's going to score the most points of anyone. But of course, we have another race tomorrow, but mentally for the driver, it's just not what they needed at all. And work to do for the team, of course, as well. They'll now be working late into the night.
Yeah, it'll be a long night for the girls and the boys down at Roden. Terry Crews there, perhaps ready to wave the checkered flag, maybe. But yeah, no, really long night ahead for the boys and the girls down at Roden Motorsport, and it'll be good for them, I imagine, to see Abby win. That'll be a little bit of redemption for what's happened.
Yeah, there's going to be definitely redemption in terms of that. Definitely been a lot of talent on show as well. It's good to have Terry Crews with us. I'm sure he's been enjoying all the racing. Let's have a look back at Leah Block there. This is, I think, her overtake on Amna El-Khabazi.
great move, super late on the brakes, blocks the move, gets it down the inside. You can see Amna trying to fight back on the outside, but the move done by Leah Block, very well done and calculated there. Amna El-Khabazi coming back at her on the exit of turn 9, side to side. Really quite feisty. You can't get a cigarette paper between those two cars there, can you? Block defending and then shutting the door. Ooh. Slight bit of contact, I think. Let's listen in. There we go, on board looking back from Block now. This is exactly what we've just seen, but the other way. So you'll see contact on the front wing of Khabazi.
She hit me!
Unsurprisingly, get two different stories from two different drivers. I would call it racing incident. I think it was hard and fair racing at all times. I think maybe Leah Block turned in a little bit too late across Al-Khabazi, but then Al-Khabazi has got the place, so I would say race control can step down on that one. It does look like, however, we're going to finish under safety car.
It certainly does. Safety car will take us round to the line. What a race it's been overall, though. Reflect on the race so far. Some brilliant moves all the way through, Joe. I mean, Abby Pulling did well to retake the lead, forcing Chloe Chambers into a bit of a mistake, but not just for the lead, up and down. The fight between Verg, Marti, Bustamante, giving the drivers, and I think looking towards the calendar next year, like Vegas and China's been added to the calendar, Canada as well, similar circuits where we've got long runs to heavy braking zones. When we're giving the drivers these kind of circuits, we're just seeing the racing they're demonstrating to us.
Yeah, this is an Academy Series, remember, so this is all about racecraft learning. It was a great move by Verg. The Houseman move was brilliant as well. And surprisingly, this is only the second lap of safety car. We only had 2 laps of safety car at Singapore, so for an Academy Series, the driving standards have been brilliant. Safety car lights are off, but we're going to get some radio from Leah Block, I think.
We received a 5-second penalty for jump start.
No way, mate! No way!
Well, she would have taken a point because Amna El-Khabazi did have a penalty, so hence the disappointment there. So that's a real shame for Leah Block. So that means Logan Hanna looks like she's going to jump into the top 10. The wildcard driver will get into the points. But for now, let's focus on the number 9 car out front, because she is going 9 wins in the F1 Academy Series, further extending her record. Abby Pulling comes across the line to take yet another win here at the Yas Marina circuit. She has been unbeatable this weekend. A record number of laps now led. She's into triple figures, and she is helping Rodin Motorsport in this fight for the team's title. A brilliant performance from the Alpine junior. Abby Pulling is ending her season in style. Great stuff from Abby Pulling. Chloe Chambers on the podium as well, and Hamda Al-Khabazi, another home podium for the Emirati driver. She is having somewhat of a dream weekend. A well done to Chloe Chambers. That's redemption. We talked about redemption for her. She redeems herself with a podium.
Of some regard, I would be interested to see the cool-down route, to see her attitude of losing the lead potentially.
Yeah, she'll be a little bit disappointed about losing it, but she's just proven to herself there. We've got one more race. She's proven to herself there. She can go toe-to-toe with Abby Pulling, and we know she's back next season as well. This is the jump start, Joe.
The lights all on.
I mean, you've got to remember, it's not just for the moving. Her car may have been rolling.
Yeah, I quickly looked at the position of the car, looked legal to me. I can sympathise with her radio reply at the moment. We are obviously talking about nanofractions of time, so like you said, the sensors rarely lie, so we would have to agree on that, but I can understand why she is frustrated.
Yeah, and it's not just the launch, isn't it? It's the car may have been slightly rolling, and as you said, the sensors, it's what they go on, but you can see the frustration. Let's hear from our winner.
All recovered. Good job.
Thank you, guys. All of you, thank you so much.
Well recovered. She lost the lead to Chloe Chambers and then regained it after Chambers made her mistake. But a great fight between them. Great race overall. Great battle. Top 4, you could barely separate them throughout the race. It may as well have been a safety car finish because that's how close they were throughout the race.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate to get robbed of the last 3 laps of a race like that, but there was no choice for race control with 2 cars out there on circuit. They have to obviously keep safety paramount. That is the first time that Chambers has been back on the podium as well since Barcelona, so she will be happy, but I still will be excited to see her reaction in the cool-down room.
Great to see Abby Pulling now coming down towards the first box, the start-finish line. This is where we saw her earlier, taking a record-breaking 8th win. Now car number 9 takes a 9th win of the season. Well done to Abby Pulling, who will climb out the car. It's another win at the As Marina circuit. Abby Pulling, the Alpine Junior, helping the Rodin Motorsport team go after this team's title. And another win for the Alpine Junior, 2 for 2 here at Abu Dhabi, and we've still got one more for her to try and get into double figures before she departs this series. She goes off to celebrate with Alice Powell. Chloe Chambers didn't have the race she wanted earlier after that spin. She recovers to take a podium, did lead the race in the early stages, maybe slightly disappointed she's not the one standing next to that #1 board, and Hamda Al-Khabaisi took a historic podium earlier, and the Emirati driver is back there. Izzy, it's been great to have you in the commentary box for the first time. What did you make of that one? You picked a pretty good race to join us, I'd say.
Yeah, picked a pretty good one. Another win, another celebration from Abby Pulling, and I think there's going to be quite a few drivers who, last race of the season tomorrow, who will be absolutely going for it, not least Chloe Chambers, who will want the win. You know, she's been so close to the win, had a really good battle with Abby Pulling, and you can see it on her face. She wants that win.
Hamda Al-Khabaisi getting good points ahead of Maya Verg as well. That was crucial for her, trying to close in on Maya, but it's all about the records here for Abby Pulling now. Good for Chloe Chambers, as we mentioned. Donnie and Pan just missing out on a podium, but that sets us up very nicely for a good season finale tomorrow. Seeing how close they raced, and let's not just focus on the top 3. The battle for 5th behind, hugely entertaining as well. Maya Verg, Nerea Marti, Bianca Bustamante, hugely entertaining to watch that one.
Yeah, I mean the battle between Maya Verg and Nerea Marti has gone on all weekend, and Logan Hanna as well, finishing in 10th place. The wildcard driver will pick up the final point of the race as well.
That's a big credit to her, isn't it? You know, we talked about how she didn't have the full practice session to get up to speed with the car. I know she started her junior series career here racing in F4 cars, and she's done a lot racing in the UK in GB4 as well, which I know is a series you're very familiar with. Terry Crews would have really enjoyed that one. Golden buzzer stuff, wasn't it, out there? But Logan Hanna, that was a really good performance from her. The craft she's learned in the likes of GB4, she definitely applied there to get the final point.
Yeah, great stuff from Logan. I mean, it's not easy to come in on the final weekend.
This was the moment Abby Pulling took the lead from Chloe Chambers. Once she got there, was impossible to catch. Got the gap over Chloe Chambers and then just maintained it at around 1.5 seconds, and it was a safety car in the end that took us to the flag after we had Lola Lovenfoss and Jessica Edgar collide, and Rodin Motorsport very happy to see their driver Abby Pulling take a 9th win of the season. Really impressive stuff, given we mentioned earlier, Joe, she didn't take a win last season, and just that turning confidence she's had this year has been quite remarkable.
Yeah, a good winter, good pre-season testing, a good plan with Alice Powell. Her mentor has really gone. So let's listen into some of the comments the driver's going to make post-race.
So you did the exact same as me?
Yeah.
What times were you on?
Someone is the only one who didn't do that. I was on all the time. I was on the
Well done for like not going off at the chicane.
Did you see that?
I saw you.
Yeah, I was
behind you walking up until like you were off the track.
I did the exact same thing.
Oh really?
I hope they can put a replay.
There's some crazy smoke coming out when you did
I
that.
did such a good warm up, and I went into the corner and I was like, yeah, I'm ready. And then it was like tyres were like, no.
I know. I was like, there you are. There's all your smoke.
Oh my god! I just disappeared.
What happened?
Oh!
Oh no.
I was wondering what was happening because my dash was like yellow flag, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. But we were like in this moment at this
I'm
point.
passing. I think a lot of people were struggling with front long pipes.
Yeah, but I just like. It really took me off guard, as you can tell. It took me off guard. I was on.
Yeah, look at that.
I was like, let me avoid that.
That's alright. What tyres were you on?
Used new.
Like fresh. Right.
Okay. I quite honestly have no idea what. I never realized that.
What
happened?
That was at the end, right?
Yeah, that must have been right at the end.
Because I saw a car there, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, I'm not. Wheel! No, because I could see on the screens around the truck. Oh gosh.
Okay, sure.
I could see on the screens like yellow flag sector blah blah, and I was like,
Blah, blah.
oh, what's that?
But yours
And
says
then-
the sector.
No, I was saying up on the.
Oh, you were looking at the screen.
I was, to be fair, a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like,
See my foot? Look at my vibration. Honestly, down the street, stuff like that.
Great to hear from the drivers in the cool-down room. I think the reactions there, and the reactions from the commentary box cool-down room as well, just showed what an entertaining race that was.
It's really good as a driver. You're so blinkered about your own race. You could hear Chambers going, I saw the yellow flag light up on my display, but didn't realise that Carrie Schreiner had been fired up into space on that one. So it's a real quick, hard-fire way to go. And you've got the interesting dynamic, haven't you, of sisters Hamda and Amna watching Amna in that instance of what was going on.
Yeah, and Hamda there, definitely would be an interesting scenario, wouldn't it? But I'm sure Amna will now be getting down to the podium to cheer on her sister Hamda, the Emirati driver. It was an emotional moment for her earlier, getting out onto the podium for the first time on home soil in terms of the F1 Academy Series, and now she is back there. This time she's into double figures for the F1 Academy Series, a 10th podium for her. Terry Crews cheering on the drivers after one of the most entertaining races I think we have seen in the F1 Academy Series. Huge quality shown, huge class shown from all the drivers, both on and off the track, particularly from Chloe Chambers. She has taken another podium. A well done to Chloe Chambers. That's a 4th for her in the F1 Academy Series, but it's a 9th win for number 9, Abby Pulling. She comes out onto the podium, winner of race 2. Congratulations to Abby Pulling on the podium for the 20th time in the F1 Academy Series. She's going to need her own cabinet for these trophies now, and she's got a chance for another one when we go racing for race 3 tomorrow. Chloe Chambers put on a great fight to take her all the way to the end. Chloe Chambers, who we will see racing next season as well, is developing very, very quickly, and you have to say is one to watch going forward in this series and going forward in the future of motorsport as well. Likewise, Hamda Al-Khabaisi, the Emirati driver, inspiring many in this part of the world, and takes yet another podium this weekend, doing big things for herself and her country as well. Well done to all three drivers. A great race to watch, hugely entertaining. And now we get on with the celebrations. Joe, hugely entertaining race to watch all the way through. And we've got another one tomorrow as well.
Yeah, great battle from these top three, spraying the rose water all over each other. Yeah, they've got a night's sleep to get ready ahead of a race tomorrow morning. Hamda has now consecutive podiums. She's had a second and now a third. Can she fill the other spot on that podium in the final race of the series?
And final thoughts from yourself, Izzy, as well, before we wrap up. Great race to watch. I'm sure you'll be back with us tomorrow as well, where we're going to officially close the series, close the team's title fight as well. Abby Pudding, with that, will want to go and take a 10th win, but she's got stiff competition with the likes of Chambers, Al-Khabaisi and Pan as well.
Yeah, fantastic race today. Really excited for tomorrow's race, the final race of the season.
Great stuff. It's going to be very, very good. A lot of drivers with the pace we saw out there could be the one that stands on the top step of the podium, but today it is Abby Pudding who takes it. Great drive from Chloe Chambers in second place as well. Hamda Al-Khabaisi, 2 podiums today. Her and Abby Pudding on the podium twice today. Dorian Pan, a great day at the office for her. Then Berg Marti, Bustamante, De House, Houseman. Well done, Logan Hanna, the wild card in the points. She could be one to watch tomorrow as well. Aurelia Nobel's 11th. Leah Block and Amna Al-Khabaisi both picked up penalties. Jess Edgar and Lovin Foss collided. Carrie Schreiner had a collision at the beginning of the race. That is all from race 2. We have one more race to go before we officially conclude the 2024 F1 Academy Series. Make sure you join us from 11:15 local time. For now, from the Yas Marina circuit, it is goodbye.